This video is going to give you some basics on how you can create some interactivity in your InDesign document. This is a really deep subject, so we're just kind of tipping on the surface of some cool things you can do to kind of get started with this process. So my first recommendation is to kind of have your workspace in that interactive environment. To do that, go to Window, Workspace, and Interactive for PDF. That's just going to give you the panels that you will be using for interactivity. And I pulled out the hyperlinks panel because we're going to be working with that. You can see I've already kind of started working on creating a few, and we're going to be examining those. So a couple of different steps you can take to get this started. We're going to start by just linking this text to the page number where that content exists. So I'm going to select it using my type tool. I'm going to come to my hyperlinks panel, use my drop down menu, and I'm going to create a new hyperlink. This is going to link to a page, and that is page 5 of this document. And here I can create a zoom if I would like to. I'm going to leave it fixed. I don't like people getting nauseous when they're looking at PDFs. And I will hit OK. And so you can see that building skills link hops to this page. And you notice we actually had it going to the wrong page. So we actually need that to go down to page 6 and 7. So let's make some edits to that. So to edit, I'm just going to double click on that and change it from 5 to 6 and hit OK. And now click the link. There I go to the building skills page. So that's a great tip. You can also create links on your pages to come back to the index. So for example, right down here, maybe above the page number, I want to create some text. I want to just say return to index. Obviously I would style that. Create a new hyperlink. That's going to go back to page 2 and hit OK. So now whenever a user selects that text, they would go back to the index. So you can have those elements on there. The other thing that you can create is a text anchor link. So as opposed to a page, you can link to some specific text. So say we want to link this specific text. I'm going to first come to this. I'm going to create a new hyperlink destination. That's kind of creating an anchor in there. I'm going to call this yarns plus patterns. And we're going to hit OK. And I'm going to go up to my yarn page. And so let's say that we just had some text here, and I loosely reference the subject matter in that text. I'll create a new hyperlink. It's going to go to the text anchor, yarn plus patterns, hit OK. And then there's that link that will hop me from here down to that page. The final type of links that we can create link to URLs. So let's talk about where we would do that. Two different ways we can do that, and you can see I've started that right here. And I just wanted to show you how those work. So I'm going to select an object, and this is going to be a hyperlink, and it's going to go to a URL. I hit OK. Notice since I didn't put anything in there, it says the URL is not available. So that's a great clue to you that something isn't right. So double click that, go to your browser. This is actually going to go to a YouTube channel. Paste that URL, hit OK, and now you can see it's checked and working. So one of the things you might want to do is, how do you test? Well, One of the ways you can test is by using these. So if I hop here, I'm going to go to that destination from that link. If I click this, it's going to open a web page. So you can use this panel. Another thing you can do is preview it live. So let's look at that. I'm going to open my SWF preview, and I'm going to have my pages selected. I'm going to go to a flyout menu, and I want to test in the browser. So here is my page. And this is page 1, and this is just that dummy stuff I have on the artboard. I'm going to use my right and left arrow to navigate, and we can hop here and check that. You can see I've got a little page turn feature here that I created. Whoops, flipped my page a little too far. So that's an interesting technique that you can use if you like that. Hop to our building skills, hop over to our links, so you can see that it creates a fully interactive document, and you can kind of test it with that preview. So one of the things you saw there was page transitions. So if you select your page transitions dialog, you can set up your page transitions. So I can have a page turn, that's what you saw earlier. I think that can be a little difficult. My preference is either to have just a simple fade or really nothing at all. If you go to your Pages panel, you can see that there we were on page 4 and 5, so we added transition there. If we want to add them to all pages, we need to select them, back to our page transition, and we've applied it to all spreads. Now we'll have that fade as we go through our PDF. So when you go to save out a PDF like this that has those interactive elements, you need to go to File, Export, and you're going to export as an interactive PDF. So let's go ahead and do that. Generally speaking, you can accept the defaults on this. If you have something that you want a certain person to open with a password, that's where you would use security. Making sure that you have pages, or do you want to view spreads? We'll take a look at that. If you've designed as spreads, it's wise to open as spreads. We're going to hit OK. This is just saying I've got some CMYK photos in there. We're going to ignore that for now. Hit OK. And it's going to open our screen. We are not going to go to full screen for this, but you can see there's my page 1. And I can go on down, checking my links and using those. So that is creating an interactive PDF in InDesign.